Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at none other than the Transport Trooper himself from, of course, The Mandalorian. But before we begin, I do want to say a huge thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these absolutely fantastic pictures. Show Ryan some love down in the comments below, because without Ryan, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Also, if you are looking to pre-order your very own Transport Trooper, or two perhaps, they are up right now with toyswonderland.com. Link for that is, of course, in the description below. Now let's get the elephant out of the room first. These are the Transport Troopers that, of course, Mando, Din Djarin, and Mayfield stole the outfits from for the second last episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Unfortunately, this particular figure does not come with a Mayfield or a Din Djarin head sculpt. It's unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen that. Who knows, sometime down the line we may potentially get that. Therefore, you'll be able to take that head and pop it on your Transport Trooper. I personally will be picking up two to represent Mayfield and Din Djarin anyway, but hopefully, sometime down the line, a company gives us those head sculpts. Nevertheless, this is pretty much a lot. I'd say about 80% reuse from the Mud Trooper. I kind of knew this was going to happen. Whenever Hot Toys has pieces already made and only requires a few tweaks here and there, such as potentially the Shore Trooper, it's kind of a sure thing, and I'm sorry for that terrible pun, but I do love the paint applications and the weathering on the Mud Trooper, and they've done equally as good a job on the Transport Trooper right here. He's dirty, he's grimy, he's nasty. They've been on that planet for a long time, mining and trudging through dirt, all the while being chased by pirates. So it makes sense that they are so worn down and beaten up, and I really like the paint applications. Hot Toys have been getting better and better. Not to say that they were terrible before, but their weathering detail, especially on figures like Commander Cody, is exceptional. So I really do have faith that this guy is going to come out looking absolutely awesome as well. But you can see he is really caked on in terms of the mud and dirt. Even on the outfit, you can see the grey undersuit here does have some dirt that looks like it's been airbrushed on. So it's not just a sort of dirtied up armored look for the trooper, it's also dirtied up on all of the material. It's a nice holistic weathering pattern, and I really like how they've done it. Now, as I said, technically we do already have the Mud Trooper. I really like the Mud Trooper. Some people didn't. I did note in my review that the body proportions looked a little bit iffy. I don't know if that's because they were trying to replicate Alden Ehrenreich's physique, perhaps. He's a little bit shorter, I don't know. Whatever it was, it didn't quite translate into figure format. But this guy doesn't seem to suffer from any of that, so I don't know if they're using a completely different body. I would assume that there would be some padding underneath. A couple of people have already said there probably won't be a fat suit. I hope there isn't, but knowing Hot Toys, they tend to err on the side of fat suit, and I'm not exactly sure why. Now you can see a color difference between the upper jacket and the pants. Accurate to the show. I did just go ahead and check the reference material. That is accurate. Now this piece right here is a new piece. It's a Stormtrooper style belt. We didn't see this on the Mud Trooper, so this right here is one of the pieces that is not shared between the two. You can see it's a nylon sort of material style belt with a few canisters or pouches glued on the front there, done in this really nice deep green. More on that green in just a second. You can see a pleather style holster because, of course, this guy only comes with one weapon, and you're about to see that blaster pistol in just a second, but it's pretty much standard fare. Now, in terms of the armored up look, he's not entirely covered. Like, of course, the Stormtroopers, you have the gauntlets and you have all this extra armor. This is a more lightweight version of a trooper, which I kind of do like. It shows that hybrid between the fully armored up look for the Shore Troopers and Stormtroopers and having a more lightweight version. These guys are inside the transport. They don't need to be as well protected, but still, they have a little bit of armor where it counts. Now, you can see this middle chest section that I do believe is shared with the Mud Trooper. I love the paint applications here. it's not just green. There are a bunch of different passes. There's silver, there's black, there's some slight bit of yellowing just to show that he's been out in the dirt and the sand. I really like how that comes across, and that's throughout the entire suit. The shoulder pads, the back, even that little bicep cover piece that is done in a super punchy, vibrant red with some markings on the front. Let me know if this is his rank designation. I'm leaning towards that being the case, but I could be wrong. I'm quite curious, as it is really the only super vibrant, colourful thing on the entire suit. I have seen troopers with it before, so I'm, as I said, quite curious to find out. Let me know what that particular piece is for. Now, there's a tiny sneak peek of the backpack. You can't really see it because the way that Hot Toys, of course, have it displayed is front on, so you can't really peek around the back, but it's a big chunky backpack, again done in that beautiful green weathered paint application. As I said, Hot Toys have been nailing it with the dirt and grime all over their troopers. Now this is the only handheld accessory that he comes with, being of course the classic Stormtrooper blaster pistol. No complaints here, it's what we saw Din using in the movie. It is a really nice piece. We've gotten it a bunch of times before. It's super nicely sculpted, painted, and detailed. You can see some subtle chipping around the edges there. As I said, no complaints whatsoever from me. Would I have liked to see potentially an E11 or an E22? Yeah, that would have been cool just to have these guys as generic troopers. But them going ahead and including this particular blaster kind of does work for the transport trooper. As I said, they're inside the transports. They don't need to be fully weaponized because they're just driving. They don't really have time to go out and shoot the pirates like we saw in that episode. Now, just a quick FYI on that helmet, because you're about to see it in a lot more detail. This is technically the helmet that we saw with the hover tank pilot in Rogue One. So, potentially, now that Hot Toys have finally made it, could that mean we'll be getting a hover tank pilot from Rogue One? Honestly, unfortunately, I don't think so. That movie is a little bit old now, and while we did get director Krennic announced a hell of a lot later than the movie itself, he's a really big main character. I could see that perhaps for Baze Malbus, but unfortunately I don't think we're getting a hover tank pilot. This guy will have to be this design of trooper helmet for your display, and for me, that's perfectly fine. I love the sort of blast shield on the front, the super angular look to the mandibles that come down there. It's a really sharp and intimidating design for an Imperial helmet. I love the way this looks. You can see the glossy visor underneath and that paint application. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. There are so many layers here, and hopefully when we get the final production piece, it looks equally as impressive. When it comes to these troopers, there's not too much going on in terms of the design. We've seen a lot of this stuff before, so they really do have to wow us with the paint applications, and I have faith that they will, because this prototype looks absolutely sensational. You can also see some sort of wear and tear around the edges down the front that shows a subtle light limeish to mint green, so it shows where the paint has been scuffed off, and also the dirt and grime has been scuffed off on the high raised edges to show a little bit of that lighter green underneath. It's a nice touch, but it really does bring this entire thing to life. Overall, though, I'm pretty darn happy with this announcement. As I said, I could kind of tell that it was going to be coming. There's a lot of reuse here, but the new stuff is done really, really well. I personally cannot wait to get this guy. Hopefully, like some of the other figures that have included a lot of reuse, I'm of course talking about the Death Trooper and the Incinerator Trooper, I would imagine this guy will be coming out fairly soon, hopefully sooner than the 2021 to 2022 target, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, as I said, this guy's going up right now with toyswonderland.com. Link is in the description below. Also check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.